It's happened again. Congratulations, Pi Network pioneers. This is the one. This is the document, the leak, that changes the entire game. We're not talking about Amazon. We're not talking about small apps. We are talking about the central banks. A leaked internal document, a memo, has just surfaced, and it confirms, it names Pi Network and the 314,159 GCV as a future reserve asset. The world is about to change, for real this time. Hello pioneers, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Nathan. Get a glass of water, sit down, because my heart is pounding and I'm still trying to process the magnitude of what I'm about to share with you. This is beyond anything we've discussed. We've talked about GCV, we've talked about mainnet, we've talked about ISO 2022, but this validates everything. From the very top down. A leaked document, a central bank level memo, is circulating among high-level financial insiders. And it positions Pi Network not as a fun little crypto project, not as a speculative coin, but as a core asset for the new global financial system. It places Pi in the same category as gold, on par with the US dollar as a sovereign reserve. Before we dive into the details of this document, what it means to be a reserve asset, and how it proves, definitively, that the 314 to the 159 GCV is the correct final number. Hit that like button. This one needs to fly. The world needs to see this. Subscribe because you cannot miss what happens next. And in the comments, I want you to type reserve asset and your country. Let the world see the new digital reserve nation. Okay, deep breath. So, what is this document? Where did it come from? And how does it prove the GCV is the real final number? Alright, so where did this come from? You're not going to see this on the mainstream news. Not yet. They wouldn't even know what to do with this. This wasn't a press release. This was a leak, in the truest sense of the word. It surfaced late last night on a deep, encrypted financial forum. A place where banking insiders, sovereign wealth fund managers, and regulatory analysts talk when they think no one else is listening. It's not a flashy document. It's boring. It looks like a discussion paper filled with financial jargon, which, honestly, is what makes it feel so real. It's a redacted screenshot of an internal memo, allegedly from a major international financial institution. Think a group like the BIS, Bank for International Settlements, the Central Bank for Central Banks, or maybe an IMF working group. The title on the memo is something like Future-Proofing Sovereign Reserves in a Decentralized Digital Economy. My hands were shaking. I'm reading this, and it's all about the death of the old system, the need for a new, compliant, digital native asset. And then, I saw it. In a footnote. You heard me. Not a headline. A footnote. A single, explosive footnote, buried on page 8, discussing next-generation assets. It lists digital gold, it lists approved CBDCs, and then it lists Pi Network Verified Mass Scale Protocol as a potential asset for, get this, public ledger balancing. I almost fell out of my chair. They know about us. They're discussing us at the highest levels. Not as a crypto, but as a mass scale protocol. But it's what they wrote next to it that changes the game forever. They didn't just name Pi, they named the value. The memo specifically references the Community Consensus GCV of 314,159 as the necessary valuation for this public ledger balancing to actually work. This is confirmation from the very top, from the architects of the old system. They're admitting in their own private documents that our GCV is the key. But what does it mean? What does it truly mean to be a reserve asset? This is the most important part of the video. You need to understand this. What is a reserve asset? A reserve asset is what a central bank, a government, holds in its vault to guarantee its own money. It is the ultimate foundation of trust and stability for an entire nation's economy. For the last 70 years, the world has primarily run on two reserve assets, gold and the US dollar. That's it. Countries hold these assets to prove they are stable. They use them to trade with other countries. They use them to survive a financial crisis. A reserve asset is the final backstop. It is the ultimate symbol of financial power and trust. Now, connect the dots. This leaked document, this internal memo from the global banking elite, is naming Pi Network, your Pi, in the same category as gold and the dollar. Why? Because the old system is dying. The dollar is drowning in debt. The old financial rails are slow, vulnerable, and controlled by one power. The entire world is screaming for a change. They need a new reserve asset for the new digital age. They need an asset for the ISO 2022 system. And what would that new asset need to be? It would need to be decentralized, so no single country could control it. It would need to be globally distributed, so every nation could access it. And it would need to be verified, KYC'd, to be compliant with the new anti-fraud standards. Now, what is the only asset on planet Earth that fits that exact description? Pi Network. They aren't adopting Pi because they like us. They are adopting Pi because they have to. It is a systemic necessity. It is the only digital gold that is already in the hands of the people, verified and ready to go. But why that number? Why would a central bank memo name the 314,159 GCV? This is the most beautiful part. This is the ultimate vindication. Because the GCV was never a speculative market price. It was never meant to be traded up and down on an exchange. The GCV is a balancing figure. It's the mathematical value, the economic constant, required to underpin the entire new global economy. The NESARA/GESARA reset with a real, tangible, and abundant value. Think about it. You need a number big enough to absorb all the old toxic debt of the dying system and replace it with a new, clean, abundant ledger. The bankers, in their own private memo, call it public ledger balancing. They know, they have done the math, they've run the models, and they came to the same conclusion we did. For Pi to function as a true reserve asset, for it to absorb the value of the old world and provide freedom in the new one, it must have this value. This leak confirms that the core team's vision and our community's consensus wasn't just a wild guess, it was the correct calculation. The GCV is the price. The document confirms it. This isn't just a dream anymore. It's economic architecture. So, what does this all mean for you? For me? For every single pioneer who just held the faith and kept tapping that button? This changes everything. What you are holding in your wallet, that number. It's not just currency for buying a phone or a cup of coffee. Yes, that's the first step, and it's coming. But the true function, the one confirmed by this leak, is that your Pi is digital gold. It's a Tier 1 reserve asset for the 21st century. It's what you will use to secure your family's future. It's what you will pass down for generations. This is why the GCV is so high. It's not so you can buy a new car, it's so you can buy a house, it's so you can pay off all your debt and be truly free. It's so you can build a business without begging a bank for a loan. It is the foundation of your entire financial freedom. This document proves that the world's most powerful institutions are no longer laughing at us. They are preparing for us. And if they are preparing to treat Pi as a sovereign reserve asset, how should you be treating it? You're not holding a lottery ticket. You are holding the vault. This is the vindication we have been waiting for. This is the proof. A leaked memo, a central bank level document, naming Pi Network and naming the 314,159 GCV as the future. The world is, without question, about to change. Your patience, your faith, your simple daily tap. It was all for this. You weren't just mining a coin, you were forging a global reserve asset. If this news gives you chills, if you are finally seeing the true scale of this, hit that like button with conviction. Share this video. The world needs to know this. Subscribe. You cannot afford to miss the updates that come next. Be proud, pioneers. Be prepared. Secure your passphrase. The banks are getting ready. Make sure you are too. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the new economy.